from Bombalicki, brought to you by blowbacklasertrainer.com, and my guest, Dandy Don Whittemore. And now we're going to talk about John Denver and RCA Records and your experience with John. You met him several times.
Oh, several times.
You were
because
pretty close to him, actually, a little bit.
Well, yeah, in a way. John Denver was just a great human being, period. And he was just like you would imagine him to be. He was friendly, he's courteous. He's the epitome of the Boy Scout, brave, clean, and reverent. He was just a great guy. And he was talented. I'm going to be all over the place with him. But I started at RCA, and he hadn't sold a million seller yet on Take Me Home Country Records, Country Home. He wrote that song with Bill and Taffy Danoff, who had another hit record a couple of years.
And they were in his group earlier on, wasn't he?
Well, they wrote the song. That's how they had their own act, Bill and Taffy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were folk singers. He's a folk singer. They got together, tried this record. And I think they let him be a writer on it so that it could get recorded on RCA, which was a smart thing to do. Elvis did that.
They did very well with that record.
Yeah, a lot of people did it. And they were managed, John Denver was managed by Jerry Weintraub, who changed the music business forever. He was the first one to take Elvis Presley on tour. Until that time, he really just did small shows. So John Denver had a great manager, great talent. He loved singing, he loved writing. This is how humane he was. He came to RCA and did our college radio seminar. One Saturday every month, we would invite all the college students that had radio stations to come to RCA studios, and we would talk about the music business and expose them to it, because it was the only way they could get close to the music business.
Right.
That way, otherwise they're out. Anyway, that really worked out, and I wanted to do that with another guy, Ray Anderson again, rest his soul, and we really made it into something special, because here's John Denver comes and decides to be on our
panel,
on our seminar.
Yeah.
And he talked about writing these songs. Before he became famous and a star and all that, he lived down there in Venice, and he would talk about how he would write these songs and play his guitar, and he would play his guitar night after night after night till his fingers bled sometimes, because he was just insane about that. And one of the simple things he said about how do you write all these songs, he says, I don't know, the words are just in the air and they come to me. And a lot of people do that write songs. They don't just go somewhere and write a song, and they get it somewhere. Something is their muse in this case. That was John Denver. Now, 74, I got invited, because I was the regional promo man then, to go to Colorado, Denver, and John Denver is going to become the poet laureate of Colorado.
Which is a very high honor.
Oh, it's the highest. I mean, you're the el numero uno poet in the state of Colorado. So we go there, he gets the award, and we take a picture. I got to be in the picture with all these guys, and all I am is just a promo man.
Right.
You know, I don't belong there, but they like to have bodies in there.
Okay, so they say, oh, throw that guy in.
And so you get in there, and so after that, we do all that stuff, and we're in the lobby, and I think his father, John's father, retired Colonel Dutchendorf from the Air Force, either he or his son, John's brother, would you like to come to our house for a barbecue tonight? I went, yeah, I certainly would. Yeah.
Hey, you know, John Denver's house barbecue.
Yeah. So
did you just drive up yourself, or
no? To Colorado, drive up?
No, you were in Colorado.
I was in Colorado.
So did you drive, or did you go with them? Did you ride with John Denver, or did you go on your own in a rental car?
John Denver's living in Aspen. So we go to the Denver airport, and here comes this little small, what we call them in those days, puddle jumper airline.
Yeah, right.
Like you had Tag Airlines in Cleveland.
Yeah, right.
Cleveland, scariest airline. You fly across Lake Erie from Cleveland to Detroit.
Right.
And that plane airline has a habit of killing people because they keep going into the lake. Ah! So anyway.
Don't ask Otis Redding about that.
Yeah, here's another lake. Here's John Denver gets off of this airplane all by himself with his guitar, and I'm going, wait a minute, that was John Denver. He's a superstar. Where is his valet? You know, no, John Denver's carrying his own little guitar and wearing jeans and a normal guy. Anyway, we go to the barbecue. We sneak off to certain areas of the yard, and they had some funny looking cigarettes, asked me if I'd like to try one, and me being from out of town said I want to be
So who are you with when you're doing this?
None of your business.
Okay,
but you know whose party it was, right?
Right.
Okay, that's called Doobie Doo. John Denver had a record, big hit that made him really cemented his stardom, called Rocky Mountain High, where they'd sit around the fire and pass the pipe around. Now, does that answer your question?
But you told me something about Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah, okay.
That you had a talk with
Jerry Weintraub.
Jerry Weintraub. You want to talk about that?
Okay.
Because that's real interesting.
Well, to Gary it was, and interesting to me because I had to talk to Jerry Weintraub, who the president of RCA Records was scared shellackless of Jerry Weintraub. Everybody, because he was a killer.
Right.
A great guy, but he would kill for his acts. Anyway, so one Friday afternoon, the guy from the A&R department, Thursday afternoon, comes out to me and says, hey, would you like to hear the new John Denver single? And
okay.
I went, God, yeah. But in those days, it's on an acetate. Acetate means you can only play it, every time you play it, it degrades the acetate so that the recording diminishes in quality every time you play it.
Okay.
So I said, I'd like to, but I don't want to, he said, no, I got another one right here. Oh, okay, great. So we listened to it. It's called Goodbye Again, I think. And I said, can you get it played? And I said, hell yeah, I can get it played. I knew exactly where to go. I went to K-Day where Bob Wilson was the PD at that time.
Daryl worked at K-Day for a while too.
Everybody did.
I did for 2 weeks.
It was a top 40 radio station in LA. The big one was KHJ, and then there was a number 2 K-Day, which was a 50,000 watt, but they select channel. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I bring on the record. I tell him what it is. I call him up first and tell him I'm coming up. I got the record. Would you play it? Yeah. Boom. So I go up there. He listens to it. At the same time he's listening to it, he's recording it on a cassette so he can play it and won't screw up the quality. He gets it, and we start playing it on his radio station, world exclusive, da-da-da, and he's playing and playing and playing it. And so like on Wednesday or Thursday following, I call Bob Wilson, the program director, and I say, how's the John Denver record doing, man? How's it doing? It actually is not doing too well. I get no calls on it. Nobody seems to like it. They want to hear Take Me Home, Country Roads, and I went, oh,
Sunshine on My Shoulders or something like that.
So from that one phone call, somebody told somebody that told somebody, and Jerry Weintraub calls me, and I'm just, the secretary says, John Denver's on the phone. And no, Jerry Weintraub's on the phone. I went, oh God, oh no. Hi, John, how are you? I said, well, I'm fine. He says, I understand that John's record is K-Day not doing so well. I said, yeah, you're right. But no, I didn't say it, yeah, you're right like that, because this is a big deal. This follow-up record to the Take Me Home Country Roads, if it's not a hit, you're going in a tank because you don't have the second.
You don't have the retention of
what
the
they call out in
listeners.
baseball is the sophomore jinx.
Right.
So this is a sophomore jinx. If you don't have a smash, then you're just a one-hit wonder. Oh, and this is serious business. So I tell him the truth because I'm scared to tell him the truth because I know he's not going to like what I tell him. And so I tell him, no, it's not a hit, but Rocky Mountain High is the hit. And that's the one you should be playing. Rocky Mountain High that's the follow-up LP to the single, and Rocky Mountain High, gonna be a big record because everybody they were even playing it on KMET.
What did he tell you though when you told him that? He said something to
He
you.
didn't say anything bad.
Didn't he say
just
something
said,
like, you better be right or something like that?
No, he didn't threaten me or anything, because it was, if I had the, pardon me, what they're, the pawn shop balls to play that record, I mean, to tell them the truth, then my opinion must be okay. You know, so I told him the truth. And the next thing you know, we get him to play Rocky Mountain High, and then that becomes a million-selling single, and then that spurs the LP to be a smash, and then the rest is, like you said,
cemented him in history.
Then it just takes off, because after that, the next couple of singles also become hits, and everything is great.
Annie's song and
oh yeah, well, Annie's song is about his wife, all that stuff. Oh yeah, they're great. Anyway, that was one John Denver story. The barbecue at his folks' house was great. They lived in a nice, simple little tract kind of house, and it wasn't like, if John Denver's your son, you must have a mansion. No.
Well, he's a down-to-earth person.
Oh yeah, they were all nice. Now, but John Denver's dad, like so many dads, kind of didn't really support John Denver's success. And that was one of the problems. These are like inside little things that.
Well, it happened in so many families, like the Cowsill family, the father, and the Beach Boys and the father.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on and on and on. Well, I think it had to do with that generation.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, because the fact is, the father wanted to be the mainstay. He wanted to be the most important person. And now here's the son, more important than he is.
Yeah, well, that's what, when you're
Johnny Cash.
When you're a dad, you want that to happen. But sometimes your father resents your success. And that's just becoming successful is not always a guarantee to paradise. But John Denver overcame a lot of that stuff, and so on. But that John Denver was a wonderful, wonderful human being, great guy, kind, like I just said earlier, and not a bad guy. No way could you consider him a bad guy unless you were his first wife.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a break, Don.
Okay.
And we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about Harry Nilsson.
Harry Nilsson.
And so this is Gary the Bombalicki, Dandy Don Whittemore, the Shooting Star Show, brought to you by BlowbackLaserTrainer.com.
Hey guys, Jersey out here with BlowbackLaserTrainer.com. Recoil training ready to go. Let me show you a couple things about the Blowback Laser Trainer. Besides the recoil, you charge this magazine up and you get 3,100 shots, and you can dry fire it too. That's amazing. Plus, with the recoil, you get 40 to 60 rounds or more. Comes with a target also. Go to BlowbackLaserTrainer.com.
Hi, I'm Gary the Bomber Bombalicki, and we're back with Dandy Don Whittemore, and we're going to be talking about Harry Nilsson right now.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about your interactions with Harry.
Harry was a great, great talent. Harry had a very odd guy because he never performed in public. So.
He worked in a bank, didn't he?
Well, he worked in a bank.
What did he do there?
Before he was an accountant or whatever they do in banks, or keep track. Count on money. That's all. That's what.
Well, you think that he would have been good with his money since he was an accountant, right?
Well, we would hope so, but sometimes there's good accountants and there's the bottom of the class accountants. But Harry was special, just because he wouldn't perform in public. He was also special because he was a big fan of the Beatles. What that means is that somebody asked John Lennon when they were back from one of their tours, "Who's your favorite recording artist in Hollywood?" Is it Harry Nilsson?
Really?
And he said, "Harry Nilsson? Well, why do you like Harry Nilsson's just the great." Paul McCartney chimed in and said, "Yeah, he's great too, because he was a great lyricist." I told Gary another time, there's a song. Anyway, there's a song I'm going to get to called One is a lonely number.
By Three Dog Night.
Three Dog Night.
Right.
That song was written in the lobby of some record studio guys. They liked his, Harry Nilsson took some material to them and they couldn't believe how good it was. So they were interested in hiring Nilsson away from the bank. And they said, you got any other songs? He says, well, let me write something, do something. So he went out in the lobby and wrote One is a Lonely Number. And then they hired him immediately for like $100 a week, which is
a lot of money back then.
It'd be 1967, 68, big bucks. And so that's how Harry got into there. But again, whatever his shy or whatever, very reclusive, he didn't do any performing.
You wonder how he was writing these songs. Who like found out that he was such a good writer?
Everybody. Because all the publishers, because the recording studio guys that he went to, the engineer that produced his first album, Harry never went back to him. It broke that guy's heart, if you ever read the history of that, because then Harry went big time and forgot the guy that discovered him. And
isn't that usually the case?
And
it happens a lot.
Well, yeah, it does in any business.
I mean, look, I discovered you. No, I mean,
yes, I understand that. They kept it a secret, some of the things. It's good. Now, so Harry did this album because he'd never really been a big seller, but he was like an industry secret, military secret. He does this album with a producer named Richard Perry, who's a big-time producer then.
Okay.
And the name of the album was Nilsson Schmilsson. And it was so well produced that the song Without You came out, and that was the first single, and we got it played on KHJ, because back in those days, 1972, KHJ was the #1 station in the country.
The Boss station had the best jocks on there. Charlie Tuna and
Don Steele, Don Steele, Robert W. Morgan, Humble Harv, and
Robert W. Morgan. Did you say that already?
What?
Robert W. Morgan was on there too, wasn't he?
Oh, he was the morning guy.
Yeah.
But that was, anyway, it started, that record, that was a big giant record, #1. That sold the album. He had a couple of other hits on there, put some lime into Coconut, that one.
And then he had Under the Fire.
Jump into the Fire. But
that song was so different than, you know.
all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's
that
crazy.
It would have been a hit record, except that it had a bad word in there you can't say on the radio.
And that's not a smart thing for radio
Well, they
guys.
did that because they had too much coke. And that was like the too much coke thing that was running around. It was not a problem in those days. It was socially acceptable. Everybody did the coke, have a line, So one night they went to the Troubadour, John Lennon and Harry Nilsson and whoever was in their pack. And they were drunk and coked up, and they made fun of whoever was appearing. I don't remember. I took it out of my mind.
I mean, I guess if we look it up, we would know.
They heckled them, everything. And I think that was the end of John Lennon and his stag trip out there without Yoko Ono, because about that time, he went,
him a little bit.
Lennon went back to Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono hated Nilsson so much that Harry went to their apartment, the Dakota, when Lennon was assassinated, and he wanted to be there with her, and she refused to let him in the building because she hated him so much. Now, I wouldn't let him in. Harry, by the way, bless his soul, has passed away. He lost a great deal of his money and probably residuals to his lawyer manager. And he was such a conceited guy about his manager, and he was very, this is me, promo man, local guy, talking to Harry one time. And he was just telling about how his manager took care of everything, and everything was wonderful. That guy eventually ended up stealing his money.
How, you know, being in the business, and you knew these managers, and you knew you're a promo guy, and you knew the artist.
Yes.
Was it the drugs and stuff that allowed them to miss the missed the communication between the money coming in and the money going out, because like a lot of bands,
Oh, yeah.
they would party and everything, realizing that the record label was deducting that from their royalties
They
every day.
never remembered that. What Gary's talking about is when these guys were profligate spenders and they had these parties, and one session was at RCA in the big studio. I saw the liquor bill from, they were going to have it delivered. The liquor store was famous in Hollywood.
Right.
But it was like a case of Jack Daniels, 2 cases of Remy Martin, a case of Stoli, 6 cases of beer, and on and on. And I looked at that and I said, well, these guys are nuts, because that's going to come out of their royalties. And the people who are going to drink it all are all the hanger-ons and all the people that don't matter, except they're all kissing somebody's ass up there so that they can get a free ride, all that. Anyway, but that was not my problem. And that's,
no, it wasn't. That wasn't. But you saw it happening.
Well, of course you
but
saw
there's
it
nothing
happen.
you could do about it. You know, Bob Seger,
Yeah.
his mother was kind of his manager of the money. So just like Gene Simmons, he didn't spend his money like that. And look what happened. They ended up having a lot of money later on in
Gene
life.
Simmons is a very unique, bright, he's a business person,
Right.
businessman. Great. And but that's a different guy.
Yeah. So anyway, it's
But
really,
you're asking about the money. Look, when there's so much money coming in, you get $100 bills and you light your joint with them and all that stuff, and you give away.
Yeah, right.
It's just crazy. And it's,
Well, listen, we're running down on time here. But
Oh.
listen, I just want to go over a couple things really quick. Number one, there's a lot of other people at RCA, like Michael Nesmith.
Yes,
You had interactions with him.
yes.
Jimmy Castor.
Jimmy Castor, one-hit guy, great
Yeah,
guy.
and
He's in
Charlie
Vegas
Pride.
now. Charlie Pride, another gold record. These are platinum guys. Waylon Jennings, platinum guy. Waylon Jennings was wonderful to me. I went down there to see him. I had dinner at his house 3 nights in a row because we were talking about some kind of a management, whatever, but that never happened. But that's how much we liked each other and all that stuff. And we did a lot of big things for Waylon that nobody ever paid attention to him. When he was at the Palomino, we did a remote broadcast.
I love the Palomino.
Well, at the Palomino, for his opening night, we had Bob Dylan, Clive Davis, Ahmet Ertegun. These are all heads of record companies. And Neil Diamond, all these big rock stars came to see Waylon Jennings because he was the real thing. And everybody thought he was one of the outlaw. He and Willie Nelson started that. They changed the way country music was made in Nashville. No more violins, no more strings, all that, no more trumpets. No, except for Johnny Cash on Jump Into the Fire. No, not Jump Into the Fire. I stepped into the blazing ring of fire. Anyway.
There you go.
Those are all really cool guys, decent people, all decent people. And if they weren't, believe me, they paid for it way down the road. Yep.
Well, listen, I appreciate you coming in, Danny Don. Not only did you give us a good interview, but you're one of my dear friends. And thanks for coming on my show.
And an investor.
Yeah, he also is an investor in Blowback Laser Trainer. How about that? So thank you for joining us. Another edition of the Shooting Star Show. Now, coming up, we're going to have Ronald Luxembourg, who was the 25-year CEO of Columbia and Epic Records and the founder of Infinity Records. And he's the youngest record CEO ever. VP ever in the record industry.
I know, it's CBS.
It's CBS, right.
Yeah,
and he's gonna come on in and he's gonna talk to us just like Don did. And then we're gonna have a whole intertwined type of thing. And believe me when I tell you, I'm gonna have to take a couple Tylenol before I come to that interview, because these guys, they have more stories than you can imagine. So thank you. And don't forget, our program is being sponsored by Blowback Laser Trainer. Blowback Laser Trainer is recoil training ready to go. Check out their website to find out how you can use the finest training equipment for firearms training as Blowback Laser Trainer. Thank you. Have a good one.